Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be learning how to make this Basque on a Bustier. So let's get right into the video and stay tuned. So to cut out this fabric, I have 38 divided by 219 plus 6 inches bustier allowance plus 4 inches sewing allowance. So I'll be folding this with my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches plus half inch sewing allowance. So that's why I'm folding this cloth this way. After folding with the bust and bustier allowance plus sewing inches, so then I now folded with my nipple to nipple measurement, and that's 4 plus half inch sewing allowance, which will give me 4.5. So I now remove the upper part of this cloth because the cloth is going to be having a yoke. So I'll measure my shoulder to bust, I'll measure my under bust, I'll measure my initial half length of 17. Then I'll add 5 inches to 17 to get my adjusted half length, and that is 22. 5 inches plus 17, that's 22. So I'll be marking at 22 for my adjusted half length. Now for my yoke, I removed 5.5. When I'm done adjusting and sewing, I'll have 6 for my yoke. So right now I'm marking my shoulder to bust. Then I'm marking my under bust, which is 14, and then I'll mark my initial waist. This is my initial half length, then my adjusted half length. Alright, so I'll just rule across. I'll just rule across for all the lines. And look at the side I'll be taking this measurement. I'll not be taking it on this other side. I'll be taking it on the side that has a fold, just like I'll do that now and show you. Now for this side, if the person is busty, it's better you use 1.5. Now for someone that is not too busty, you can use 1. So I'll be measuring 1.5 to meet my, in fact, let me indicate it. The first one is my initial, the first one is my shoulder to bust. Yes, shoulder to bust. I'm supposed to write shoulder S. Okay, let me just write it here. Shoulder to my bust. Then this is my under bust. Then this is my initial waist, or my initial half length. So I will just be marking 1.5 to my under bust, the place I indicated UB. From that initial waist, I'll mark to my under bust 1.5. Then I'll curve and then come out by half inch at that top side. So let's do that now. We have 1.5 from here to this place. I'll come out by half inch here. This method is so simple and direct, not too much mass here, just very easy. So I'll just connect with a line, with a straight line. Then I'll be curving from that point, this under bust. You have to get your own measurement. So I'll just connect up to the upper part. So this line I drew here is just the sign to show how I want the shape to come out. So I'm just cutting out. And there's it. I'll be notching at my under bust, so when I'm fixing my bra cup, I'll know where to start from. Okay, so that line, we'll make use of it very soon. So this is how it looks like when you're done cutting. I just fixed a gum stay and then fixed my bra cup. Now this is where it gets easier or interesting. So from there I'll be removing my yoke, then I'll mark my half length, my initial half length, my initial waist. I'll just mark my initial waist here at 17. I just add half inch, so I'll just mark my initial waist at 17 and half, so I can use half inch to sew and everything. Excuse me. So I'll just mark the 17 and then rule across to the end so it will be easier. And this is it. Now I'm going to draw the line that I want. Some people want their own to be straight V. Some people want it to be a bit curved. You see the way it is? And some people just want it to be U. It depends on what you want. You can start at that end, to curve. But when you're cutting, it's better you start at the extreme, this other side. Okay, I just cut. I didn't know that the camera wasn't recording, so I just started from this point and then cut out to with the line I marked. So, and there's it. Now for the neck, you can decide to do whatever neck you want. You can do a sweetheart, or you can do whatever neck you decide on doing. At this point, you can easily cut your neck. Now I'll just cut it. Some people always used to open this side, so that they can add a skin net to that point. But this one, I won't be doing that. So I'm just cutting out, and this is it. Let me unpin it. Now don't forget that before you can cut this thing, you have to join all these places that I've joined. If you want to know how to fix a bra cup, the video will be available. It's available. You can watch the video. So this is the way I wanted it to look like. Not just a straight V, just a little curve. Then you can make your own choice. Now for the lining, I'm using the same fabric for the lining, but I'm not gumming any cloth gum there. I'll just join it. For this lining, I didn't cut it. I didn't add an adjusted 5 inches. I just cut it on that 17 and half. That is my initial half inch. My initial half length. My initial half length of 17 and half. That's half inch for my sewing. That's what I use to cut this one. And I will show you why. Not everybody uses this method. Some people just cut that V directly and do their own thing on sewing, but it depends on what you want. But this is a very easier method and direct method. So I'm just joining the sides of the bustier. And there's it. So because I didn't cut out the neck and I didn't join the sides when I was cutting it out so I can cut it out together, I'll be cutting out my neck now. I'll just cut out the neck for this lining. It's serving as my lining now. So I'll just trim the excesses and then I'll just join there, leaving this side. You can see that part is longer than the other one. Now for the yoke, you can decide to put the yoke inside before sewing, or you can put it on top of this after you have finished joining everything. It depends on, but that's not our point of concentration for today. So this is it. I've just finished and I'm turning it over. I'm bringing out the side. You can easily use an iron to do this, but it's best to bring it out first before doing that. So I have added the yoke to this cloth, and then I will just adjust my armhole, because I didn't cut it all this way. It's at this point that I will cut my armhole. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a video. Thank you. So I'm just coming down to meet that point where I have it for my armhole. Now to join this, I'll be joining with this back. I will join this back now to the lower part of this dress, and that's the down part. So I'll be joining that point where I pointed. I'll be joining into this side, but first of all I'll get the midpoint of this cloth, of the down part, just this way. Look at the down part. I've already turned it with lining, so I'll be getting the midpoint and then I will notch it. And I also get the midpoint for the upper part of this dress, but the back side, because I'm not stitching this side that has the V yet. I'm stitching with the back. I will show you. So this is it. I'm just getting the midpoint for the back. That's for that lining side, and I will be notching it. So I'll place the two notch sides together. And sew them up this way and this way. So I have done that. I've sewn them up. Now for this side, I'm going to be turning this lower part, this side that has this V now, with a bias, or with the same material and then cut it with a bias so that I can turn it over. This point now that I'm holding, there's the side I'll put a bias, or I'll use the same fabric but cut it with the same size of a bias so that I will turn it over with that. So let me just put that. I have just done that. I have stitched a bias to this way all through to the end. So I'll just be folding it this way inside and then stitch it on top of the cloth this way. So this is it. So I'm just trying to get the pointed part I pinned them accurately, and I pinned that pointed part to the middle of this down part, the lower part of the dress. I pinned it so it will not shift while I'm sewing on it. So I'm just trying to neatly fold in all those parts so that I will just sew directly and straight when I'm sewing. So I'm just going to be sewing on this fabric, and on that line I'll just sew it and make sure that I'm sewing very closely to the edge. I'm not going to be making that line to be so obvious. I'm just sewing very closely to the edge of this cloth, and that's it. I'll do the same for the other side, and this is it. Kindly subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment so I'll know your feedback on this. Thank you.